The Legend of the Christmas Goblins. Once upon a time, in a small village in Italy, there were tiny, mischievous goblins who loved to play tricks on people. These goblins lived deep in the forest and only came out at night. They had little pointed ears, big noses, and bright, twinkling eyes that sparkled in the moonlight. Every year, during the Christmas season, these goblins would come out of their hiding places to cause trouble. They loved to play tricks on the villagers, hiding their shoes, tangling their yarn, and making their homes messy. One cold winter's night, a kind old man named Giovanni was preparing for Christmas. Giovanni was known for his gentle heart and generous spirit. He loved to make beautiful toys for the children in the village. He spent many hours carving wooden dolls, trains, and animals to give as gifts. He always left his workshop door open, welcoming anyone who needed warmth and company. As Giovanni worked late into the night, he heard a soft, rustling sound outside his window. He peeked out and saw the goblins sneaking around, giggling and whispering. Giovanni knew the goblins' tricks all too well, but he decided not to chase them away. Instead, he went back to his work, humming a cheerful Christmas tune. The goblins were curious about the old man's workshop. They crept closer and peered through the windows, their eyes widening at the sight of the colorful toys. They had never seen such wonderful things before. One brave goblin named Pip whispered to his friends, "Let's go inside and see what the old man is doing." The goblins tiptoed into Giovanni's workshop, their tiny feet barely making a sound. Giovanni pretended not to notice them, but he could see their curious faces and bright eyes. He continued to hum his song and work on a beautiful wooden train. Pip, the bravest goblin, couldn't resist touching the train. He reached out with his little hand and gave it a gentle push. The train rolled along the table, and the goblins gasped in delight. Giovanni looked up and smiled kindly at them. "Hello, little ones," he said softly. "Would you like to help me make toys?" The goblins were surprised by Giovanni's kindness. No one had ever spoken to them so nicely before. They nodded eagerly and gathered around him. Giovanni showed them how to carve the wood and paint the toys. The goblins were quick learners, and soon they were making toys of their own. As the night went on, the goblins forgot about their mischievous plans. They were having too much fun creating beautiful toys with Giovanni. They laughed and chatted, their hearts warmed by the old man's kindness. Giovanni told them stories about the true meaning of Christmas: love, sharing, and giving. The goblins listened intently, their eyes shining with wonder. They had never thought about Christmas in this way before. They realized that playing tricks on people wasn't as fun as making them happy. They wanted to do something special for Giovanni to show their gratitude. Pip had an idea. "Let's make a special toy for Giovanni," he whispered to the other goblins. "We can carve a beautiful angel to watch over him." The goblins loved the idea and quickly got to work. They found a piece of wood and carved it carefully, each goblin adding their own special touch. They painted it with bright colors and gave it a sparkling finish. When they were done, they placed the angel on Giovanni's workbench. Giovanni looked at the angel and felt tears in his eyes. "Thank you, my little friends," he said, his voice full of warmth. "This is the most beautiful gift I have ever received." The goblins smiled, their hearts filled with joy. They had learned the true spirit of Christmas, the joy of giving and sharing. From that night on, the goblins decided to change their ways. Instead of playing tricks, they would help Giovanni make toys for the children. They worked together, creating wonderful gifts that brought smiles to everyone's faces. The villagers noticed the change in the goblins. They were no longer afraid of their tricks, but welcomed them as friends. The goblins and the villagers celebrated Christmas together, sharing love, laughter, and joy. The goblins had found a new purpose and felt happier than ever before. As the days passed, the goblins became an integral part of the village. They helped Giovanni not only with making toys, but also with other tasks. They gathered firewood for the elderly, helped mend fences, and even assisted in decorating the village square for the Christmas festivities. The villagers were amazed at how helpful and kind the goblins had become. One evening, as Giovanni and the goblins were finishing up a batch of toys, they heard a knock at the door. It was the village mayor, Signora Rossi, with a group of children. "Giovanni," she said, We have come to see the wonderful toys you and your little friends have been making. The children are very excited to meet you all." Giovanni welcomed them warmly. The children's eyes sparkled with delight as they looked around the workshop, filled with colorful toys. The goblins shyly stepped forward, nervous about meeting so many new people. But the children were fascinated by the goblins and soon began chatting and laughing with them. Pip showed the children how to paint the toys, and the other goblins demonstrated how to carve simple shapes. The children were thrilled to learn from their new friends. It was a magical evening filled with creativity, laughter, and the spirit of Christmas. As the night came to an end, the children hugged Giovanni and the goblins, thanking them for the wonderful experience. Signora Rossi looked at Giovanni with gratitude. "You and the goblins have brought so much joy to our village," she said. "This Christmas will be one we will always remember." Giovanni smiled and looked at the goblins with pride. They had come a long way from their mischievous ways. The goblins had found their place in the village, and everyone had learned the true meaning of Christmas. The Christmas Eve arrived, and the village was bustling with excitement. The villagers gathered in the square for the annual Christmas celebration. There was a large Christmas tree decorated with colorful ornaments and twinkling lights. The air was filled with the sweet smell of baked goods and the sound of joyful music. Giovanni and the goblins stood together, watching the festivities. The villagers sang carols, exchanged gifts, and shared delicious food. The children ran around, playing with the toys that Giovanni and the goblins had made. It was a heartwarming sight. As the night grew colder, the villagers gathered around the Christmas tree for the final event of the evening. Signora Rossi stood at the front, holding a small candle. "Tonight, we celebrate not only Christmas, but also the kindness and generosity that have brought us all together," she said. "We light this candle to symbolize the light that shines within each of us, the light of love and the spirit of giving." She lit the candle, and soon, everyone in the village had a candle of their own, their faces glowing in the warm light. Giovanni and the goblins stood together, holding their candles, feeling a deep sense of belonging and happiness. Pip looked up at Giovanni and smiled. "Thank you, Giovanni," he said. "You showed us the true meaning of Christmas. We are so happy to be part of this village and to have friends like you." Giovanni hugged Pip and the other goblins. "Thank you, my little friends," he said. "You have brought so much joy to my life and to the lives of everyone in the village. This is the true magic of Christmas, the love and kindness we share with each other." As the candles flickered in the night, the villagers sang a final carol, their voices blending harmoniously. The goblins felt a warmth in their hearts that they had never felt before. They knew that this Christmas was special, not because of the gifts or the decorations, but because of the love and friendship that had brought everyone together. From that Christmas on, the goblins were no longer known as troublemakers. They were cherished members of the village, always ready to lend a helping hand and spread joy. Every year, they worked with Giovanni to make toys for the children, and the village celebrated Christmas with a heart full of love and gratitude. We learned that being kind and helping others brings us happiness. When we share and give, we make the world a better place. Christmas is not just about receiving gifts, but also about giving and showing love to everyone around us. Let's be like the goblins who learn to spread joy and kindness.